And everything that you need is at one website, LarryRagland.com or .tv. You can see this is some of our previous shows that we've done. And then you can come down here if you'd like to become a partner with our television ministry and with our ministry in general. You can send a check to Larry Ragland Ministries, P.O. Box 9489, Birmingham, Alabama. We would appreciate that. You can click the one-time gift, and you can click Become a Partner. Let me show you what happens when you click Become a Partner. And this is amazing because now you can become a partner with us, a partner, remnant partner, global harvest partner, or Awake Not Woke. And I'm excited to say we've had a couple of Awake Not Woke partners.
Love it.
And we need that because, Sandy, the reason that we're partnering is because of our television ministry. And I've got something new to tell you tonight that I just did before you came in here.
Okay, come on.
Don't you love those, finding things out live in front of the entire world?
I'm telling you, I live a life where I find things out.
Yes, you do. Yes,
Yeah,
you do.
a lot.
So watch this. I didn't have time to make a graphic, but it's real easy to remember. The Big Picture TV Show. All right, let's say it together. 1, 2, 3, go.
The Big Picture TV Show.
.com.
.com, of course.
The Big Picture TV Show.com is an easy way for you to go straight to this playlist where all of the previous TV shows that are now available on our channel here.
Yes.
They're 1 week behind from what is going on in the regular Christian television on DirecTV, on the Roku apps, on World Harvest Television channel, on Victory Television Network channel, and all over the world via satellite and everything that you're making it possible. Now you can go to thebigpicturetvshow.com.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Okay, I know. Let me finish before we start talking about the live chat because I know I'm not even looking over there.
Don't look.
But look, you can see they're in order all the way back to the very first show.
Yes.
All the way
Very
up
nice.
to our latest show, which is episode 11. There's 13 shows that we
Nicely
take.
done.
So
You're so handy that way.
well, thank you. And so basically what we're saying is if you want to know what you're supporting when we talk about the TV show, go check it out. Each one of them are exactly 28 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's a TV show. It's not like this show. And it is really, I think, done well. I think they really did a good job.
And you did a great job with that series.
Well, so did you. You were on there. You were my co-host and all of that on several shows, and I was really appreciative.
Well, I was thankful for the opportunity, and it was quite an experience. And yeah, I'm glad that the word is going out, and I hope that people watch every episode because they were done well.
Yeah, they were done
And
well.
it's a part of this whole experience.
Yes,
so
it is.
you need
Yep.
to check those out.
All right. Well, let's get into some news tonight.
Yes.
And the first one is a tragedy.
It is.
Very, very sad.
Affects a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of folks followed the show Friends and went for a long time. I don't even remember how many years it was on, but
I think
10 years? 10 years maybe?
at least 10 years, maybe
Yeah.
12.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard, and I don't know how you couldn't have heard, but last night, the tragic death of Matthew Perry, one of the first one of the Friends to be lost.
Right.
And he was found in his hot tub at his home. And the initial thing was they were said that the initial was drowning. And, of course, you know where people's minds go. And we're not going to really go there tonight. But, because he has battled. He's had a rough life. He's battled addiction, being sober. I watched a little interview clip from today, and they were talking about, he was on there. And he was talking about, I've 2 years sober, 6 months not sober,
Right.
3 years sober. His whole life, he started drinking and became an alcoholic back when he was a teenager.
He said he started around age 12.
12, wow.
I don't know exactly what substance he started with, but that's 42 years of
Unbelievable.
his 54 years
Yeah.
of life. But
And
it touched me what he said, that he wanted to help people.
Yeah.
He wanted to help them. And what he said about being the one, he said, I'm the one
That survived it.
that survived this. And if you saw that last
It was
interview
heartbreaking. Yeah.
that he did, he looked greatly affected. At first, I thought he's still abusing.
Yeah.
But, then I said something to you, and I watched some commentary, and it appeared that he had so damaged and affected his body and his abilities that's what we were seeing.
Yeah.
Not continued substance abuse, but
And he
he
talked about there was at least 4 seasons, the entire seasons, that he says, I have no memory.
Don't even remember.
I don't even remember doing them.
Isn't that just like the devil?
It is.
To steal memories of the prime of your life, of your accomplishments.
Yep.
Because most people will tell you, he was almost a comedic genius, that his comedic timing was impeccable.
Yep.
Certainly, he rose to such stardom, and others were commenting on, this was, what did they say, appointment television. This was back in the day when you needed to be in front of the TV or, possibly record it, but you definitely experienced it with friends, whether they were in the house watching it with you or they were at their home. You watched together and you commented on the show, just like if you watched Cheers or if you watched Seinfeld, you talked about it for several days after.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to say too before we move off this, and I know that a lot of people's minds immediately go back that maybe he relapsed and things like that. We don't know that. The inconclusive now. We obviously think that's where our minds go, but the reality is this: when your body is damaged like this, it could be a heart attack, it could have been anything.
Sure.
But the one thing that I saw, man, whew,
I love
I'm
this.
getting emotional thinking
It's
about
great.
it, because this is the struggle of people in the world.
Yeah.
And he said, just before I landed the spot in Friends, he said, I asked God. He said, I cried out to God and said, God, make me famous. Make me famous. Whatever you got to do to make me famous. I've always wanted to be famous. And he said, God answered my prayer. And he said, I got the spot. But he said, but 6 months into the first year of being on Friends, when it was just taking off, he said, I realized I am miserable. I am not happy. And towards the end of his life, now that we can say the end of his life, he said in this interview, I cried out to God again. This is after Friends was gone. They were getting ready to do the reunion thing. Yeah. And he said, I cried out to God again. And he said, I said, God, just give me a life. Just help me to help other people, not have to live a life like I have lived.
I'm telling you.
And he said, I did not cry out to be famous. I cried out for some kind of peace of mind from God.
That's going from tragedy to triumph. When you can, even in your pain, care about other people.
Yeah.
I mean, this man was at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he even went on to be, he had some movie success too.
They had, some great movies too. And to this day, each one of the people in Friends, still just residuals, are $10 million a year.
It's unbelievable.
Each one of them, residuals, if they never work again, $10 million.
Let's thank CJ and Alicia for letting us know that there were 11 seasons. Thank you, guys. You're on the case.
Thank you. Well, another breaking thing that happened this week is that we finally got a Speaker of the House. Okay,
finally.
After
how
all
many
of this.
attempts this round? I don't remember.
But let's just be real, okay? How many out there, by a show of hands, had any idea who this dude was? He come out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, he has got them tore up, Sandy. This guy has got them tore up. This is the new Speaker of the House.
Him and his wife. We'll talk about her later.
Exactly.
Wow.
So Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Do you know, I don't have the picture here, but when they voted him in, he dropped to his knees and they gathered around him on the floor of the House and laid hands on him and began to pray to Jesus that the Holy Spirit would anoint him.
Pretty crazy, right?
This is why they're so upset. Ex-White House spokesman Jen Psaki, though. Y'all remember Psaki?
Oh, my goodness.
Psaki. I'm going to circle back around just a minute. I'm going to circle back around to Jen Psaki. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
That next to the last Indiana Jones movie where Cate Blanchett was the the female Nazi.
Yeah. Was that really Jen Psaki?
She reminds me so much of her.
Yeah.
But, I kind of wish we had her back. She was kind of cool. She's a circle back girl.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to.
Ain't no circle back girl.
No, you didn't. I'm going to circle back around to this article.
You're going to circle back.
And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, you obviously didn't watch the news while she was the press secretary. Ex-White House spokesman Jen Psaki openly has blasted the new House Speaker, Mike Johnson. Why? For his Christian faith, exhibiting what commentators described as open discrimination based on his religious faith. I want to play this, and I want you to remember that this was the press secretary of the president not long ago.
Yes.
And she is saying we should all be scared for our lives because we now have a politician that has a worldview based on the Bible.
There's some very extremist comments in this article.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Minutes to talk about this new speaker. First glance, Mike Johnson does seem fine-ish. Conservative, yes, but he once started a civility caucus with a Democrat. And I mean, if nothing else, he wears a suit and has glasses. How threatening can this guy actually be? Well, he gave us all a little clue as to how he would govern in an interview this week.
I am a Bible-believing Christian. Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious, people are curious, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview.
You heard that right. The Bible doesn't just inform his worldview, it is his worldview. In fact, during his first speech in his new job, Johnson suggested that his election as speaker was an act of God. Talk about a bit of a humble brag there. So what exactly has God apparently called on Mike Johnson to do? Well, his views on policy are essentially what you'd expect from a religious fundamentalist. They're more divisive than they are divine.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. We need to go down in this article and read a little more of what they had to say about
what
this.
you would expect from a religious extremism.
Fundamentalist.
Oh, my goodness. Oddly, she targets his faith as she points out how reasonable he likely is. First glance, this is just a quoting of what she just said.
In the video.
But I like when he said, just go pick up a Bible and read it. You'll know my claims on how I look at the world. Psaki warned her audience that Johnson is a scary speaker for more than just his political beliefs. Most Americans might not be able to pick Mike Johnson out of a lineup, but in reality, he's far from benign.
He's so dangerous.
They're scared of his political ideology and also because he is a Christian fundamentalist. Oh, the scary word. While conservatives on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, can we quit calling it that, the platform? I'm tired of saying X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Let's just call it X. Have praised Johnson for wearing his Christianity on his sleeve. Some liberals argue that he is offending the Constitution and the New Testament with his appeal to God in the House chamber. My goodness. He goes on to say that God allowed each one of us at a House assembly to be brought here for this specific moment. I believe that each one of us have a huge responsibility today to use the gifts that God has given us to serve the extraordinary people of this great country, and they deserve it. What a shocking, horrible, dangerous
Go down here and read this last little paragraph there.
Go ahead and read what you're looking for.
It continued, Democrats are becoming more godless and wicked by the day.
What?
It wasn't an accident that they booed God at their 2012
I remember
convention.
that. Do you remember that? They said God. We got to talk about this. We got to talk. At the 2012 convention, they got up in the convention. I was watching it, and they said, we propose an amendment to put God back in our platform as a party, and the party and the whole place began to boo putting God back in. That's what he's talking about.
I had forgotten all about that.
I was watching it live. The Godless Party finally decided on a surefire tactic. They're going to attack him on his faith. So in a country...
Well, go on and read the last part of that. Did you ever imagine a major party would be anti-Christian?
There it is. Let me put it
in your
up
lifetime,
here.
that we would have a major American party that hated Christians.
Wow. Well, no, I'm not saying everybody that's a Democrat hates Christians, but the party platform.
I wouldn't go that far personally to say that, but to read that, I was like, my goodness, wow.
Yeah. But they were not through. We have another article because now I want you to see how scary if he wasn't scary enough. Look out for Miss Johnson, Kelly Johnson, who is married to House Speaker Mike Johnson. Oh, I love the wording of this title. Practices an ancient form of Christian counseling that classifies people as choleric, phlegmatic, and other personality types purportedly ordained by God. This is the personality test that people do in their growth track at churches.
Yeah.
And it's an ancient form of Christian counseling.
From Hippocrates.
Oh, my goodness. So Kelly Johnson, the wife of newly elected House Speaker, ran a Christian counseling service that affiliated with an organization that advocates against abortion and homosexuality and whose practices are built on the teachings of the Greek physician Hippocrates. It is not clear if Kelly Johnson will continue her practice. But not long after Representative Mike Johnson began the House Speaker last week, Kelly Johnson's website became inaccessible. Her husband of more than 24 years rose overnight as virtually obscure House lawmaker into the position of second in line to the presidency. The couple is deeply religious. Deeply. Scary. They're deeply religious. Both Kelly and Mike Johnson previously worked with a religious organization and cause that advocates for right to life, an anti-abortion organization. You know, saving a life instead of killing a baby. Danger.
Exactly.
And he goes on to say that they agreed with a 1980s organization founded Christian couple that had materials from the National Christian Counselors Association that believed in finding the personality types of choleric and sanguine and phlegmatic and introverted.
Yeah.
And because you break those down, you are dangerous.
You're so mystic and you're so dangerous. Right here on the day before Halloween, the Christians are scaring everybody.
Don't be scared of devils. Don't be scared of demons and witches. Be scared of people.
Be scared of those
that
fundamentalists.
Are Christians.
That they want to save lives and they're pro-life. Scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's right. Hippocrates is where we get the Hippocratic Oath.
Exactly. The Hippocratic Oath of saving lives and doing no harm. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Instead of like killing babies.
Wow.
And standing for the sanctity of marriage.
Oh, we might have gone a little off the rails there. Sorry for that.
But, you know,
No,
these are.
Sorry.
Look, that's what they're saying. Be afraid of these people.
Yeah,
because they
exactly.
actually read
Paint
the
them
Bible.
as scary because they're Bible-believing pro-lifers.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Now, of course, we've got to get to the war. We've got to get to the war and cover some things in the war. We're not going to spend as much time on it as we normally do. But I want to play the beginning of a tiny portion of this clip.
Yeah.
Because this...
Some of you out there may follow the Canadian prepper. I don't personally. I know about him. He's, you know, there's a lot of fear porn out there, and I don't particularly like that because I need somebody to tell me like it is and, you know, keep it on point and don't, you know, I don't need clickbait and all that.
Yeah.
But I do believe he has some information people do need to hear on this one.
And before I play this, I want to remind you, once again, we keep going back to that show. And by the way, I'm getting ready to do an update show to the China in 24 show. Just search for China 2024 or War with China in all of my videos and you'll find it. But on that video, Sandy, I said about the intelligence that was given to me confidentially and anonymously.
Yes.
And all I'm going to say is this. There were things that I could say and there were things that I couldn't say.
Yes.
But I needed that information. And what I was able to say and given permission to say was that in July, there was going to begin to be the largest movement of military assets in our lifetime.
Yep.
Now,
and what month was that?
That was July.
July?
That was July. Okay. So that was because of China. Now, all I'm going to say is every day that goes by, the information that was given to me is validated over.
Well, I just want to say one thing. Every week we come and do this show, escalation.
Yeah.
I'm going through all these news articles and I am just almost shaking. I'm just like, this is happening. This is happening.
This is really happening. Now, I'm only going to play the first part of this because I don't want to get into copyright things and I don't want to really cover a lot more than what he's saying. But I want you to listen closely to what he is saying. And behind him, he has the map of Europe. He's going to show you the Middle East and he's going to talk about China. And I want you to remember that the movement of these ships began in July. How did we know to have all those ships over there?
Are you just going to go there?
I'm going to go there.
Okay.
So that we could so quickly
Okay.
move to the
All
military.
right.
So in the Middle East. So the updated show.
You mean while all of us are sitting here scared and worried, concerned about Taiwan?
Yeah. Who
and
knew that it
maybe we're about to all move over there and, all these exercises that are going on and
you're not
China's surrounding Taiwan.
Yeah. And here's the thing. You're going to want to watch that update show that's going to come in the next couple of weeks because the question is going to be asked, and I will be giving the information from anonymous people. The question is, we thought that China was going to be what drew us into the World War. Could it be that the Middle East is? I already know what his answer is, and it's going to shock you.
Might be the final hours
sorry,
of this unipolar world.
It's
quite befitting that I'm doing these videos later and later into the wee hours of the morning. It is currently Sunday at midnight. Got to open up shop in 8 hours, so we got to make this quick. If you think that the largest amassing of warships and naval power in and around the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, and the Persian Gulf is an accident, or is just for the purpose of the Gaza Strip or the West Bank or even the broader Israel as a whole or even Lebanon, then I think that you are naively optimistic about this current situation. We are seeing the largest amassing of naval power since World War II. Okay? Think of all of the wars that have happened.
Okay. I didn't say that. He said that. But I'm just going to say that a few other people have told me the same thing. I'm going to back it up, and I want you to listen to the gravity of this. And I want you to know that what he is saying is 100% accurate. This is not his opinion. This is accurate. Listen to this.
Happens power since we're seeing the largest amassing of naval power since World War II. Okay? Think of all of the wars that have happened since World War II. This is the largest amassing of force. Ask yourself, why might that be the case? This is almost more firepower than you would even need if you were about to go to war directly with Iran. If you were explicitly stating that that was your objective, this would almost seem a little excessive. So something very big is going on right now. We are seeing high-level talks across the map. Hamas leaders, Iranian foreign minister recently in Moscow. Today, Sergei Shoigu met with his counterpart in China. Something big is absolutely about to happen. And I seriously don't know how much time we have left. According to the leader of Hezbollah, there's going to be an announcement on Friday. There's some ominous, cryptic videos floating around that might suggest that this is when they're going to effectively declare war. Now, we're living in an age where it's almost counterproductive to declare war. You want to retain the element of surprise. So what exactly is going to happen on Friday? Well, what we do know is...
I'm going to stop it there, and I want to review real quick a couple of things that he said. Number one, this was his words, the largest movement of military warships.
That statement alone
since
should
World War II.
cause people to pause and just think, what does that mean?
Okay, and
what does that actually mean?
Exactly. And then you say, okay, let's just say hypothetically he's correct. And let's just say the number of ships is the largest since the movement of World War II. Yeah. You can't compare the ships of today with the ships of the day of that day. The military warfare and the weapons that we have now. That's what he was saying. He said it's more power than you would need if you were planning on letting the world know you're going to war. Yep. So it's bigger and more weapons than you would even need in that region to go into full-blown war.
Another alarming statement, and not him, but an article that I was looking at in prep tonight, talked about how much more equipment, how much more we are taking than even when we went against Saddam Hussein.
Exactly. Yes, that's right. And it almost, it's just like right in your face that people, I get comments pushed back all the time. We're not in World War III. We're not in World War III. All this kind of stuff. I get what you're saying, that this, World War III, when you look at a world war, it don't seem like we're in a world war.
Right.
But as what he was saying, what we've been saying here is the beginning stages have already begun.
Yes.
And when he's talking about all these high-level meetings between enemies, flying in, taking trains, they're sitting down and they're meeting. What are they planning for?
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking about the most powerful demonic people in the world.
Look at this in comparison. This
planning
wasn't
something.
a world war, but when we were staging against Saddam Hussein, all that we saw, this has been years ago, early 90s. But now, look at all the other players that are moving into this theater of war that is being set up. The USS Gerald Ford alone has almost 5,000 soldiers.
Wow.
Shipmen, however you refer to that, just on that one carrier, just on that one ship.
And not to mention that it is the largest
in the world.
In the world. And the most powerful in the world. And that's not the only one that's there. There's multiple other ones that are in the Persian Gulf and off the banks of the Middle East. And then we got so much over in China.
How many ships has China sent?
The last time we reported it, and they're still bringing them, they had brought 10 warships on the right next to us. We've got planes. I watched a video the other day of a Chinese or Russian, it was a Russian MiG type jet, but it was China, came within 10 feet of a B-52 bomber, trying to intimidate it. There's things going on in the sky, there's things going on in the sea. And then what he said, since he said it, then I'm just going to come behind it. What's got me thinking is all these high-level meetings that are happening. They are strategizing something. And why, in the day of technology, when you've got supposedly secure lines and all this that you can communicate, why are they taking the time to travel over countries and sit in a room where they didn't used to do that? It's like they are planning something they don't want to give anybody a shot of intercepting. Wow. I'm talking about, this is big, y'all. This is big. That's
why I went in my prayer closet before I came out here after looking at these articles, looking at some of these videos. I was like, I got to have some prayer cover because I cannot deal with this. It's so stressful. Yeah.
Well, let's continue. A few more things on the war here, courtesy of End Time Headlines, Ricky Scaparo. Iran enters massive war games. Iran. With 200 attack helicopters and missiles as tensions escalate with America and Israel. Iran has staged massive war games with 200 helicopters and missile launchers as tensions rage. Tanks, aircraft, and troops were deployed by the Islamic Republic for the exercise dubbed Authority 1402. We got to look that up. It comes as unprecedented tensions rage in the Middle East with fears Iran could join the war raging between Israel and Hamas. Commander-in-Chief, the Iranian army, that guy, we are always ready to deal with threats, he said. Israel launched a massive raid in Gaza last night, and it's beginning to pick up, sending troops and tanks streaming across the border in a massive aerial blitz. Iran is feared to potentially intervene either directly or via proxy terror groups such as Hezbollah.
Exactly.
And as was just reported by the Canadian Prepper, and other people are reporting as well, there are rumors and there are leaks coming out that Hezbollah is going to make a huge announcement on Friday. And I believe they're going to announce that they're in full war against Israel. And when that happens, you've got it from the south now, from the north, and then you're going to have Iran involved in it. Then
Is this
the
article that goes on to say what you're talking about, Iran-backed militias trying to unite to invade Israel?
I'm not sure.
Because one of these articles certainly says that.
I think it's this next one. Let's just go straight to it. It's Iran president says Israel has crossed the red line and warns what coming will involve everyone. Listen to the words of this. Let me zoom it in just a little bit for those that are watching on their big screen TV, which we love that you do that.
Yeah, somebody said they're watching on 84-inch.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm sure all these spots on my face look real good on your big high-definition television.
Oh, yes, we love that HD stuff too.
Yes. As Israeli forces ground deeper into Gaza Sunday, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi posted a foreboding social media message, quote, Zionist regime's crimes have crossed the red lines, which may force everyone to take action. Everyone to take action. Washington asks us not to do anything, but they keep giving wide support to Israel, he said on X. The U.S. sent messages to the axis of resistance, but received a clear response on the battlefield. And this is the IDF home front commander in Ashkelon saying this war will be long, it will be weeks or months. See, the United Nations and the media want it to be like strategic, go in there and bomb a few things and get back out. But Israel is saying no. In a statement from Iran's news agency, Rossi said the United States has been hypocritical in supporting Israel in its war crimes on Hamas, which massacred more than 1,400 people on October 7th. Americans who claim human rights, who equip and support this fake and anti-human regime, talking about Israel, with military equipment for crimes in Gaza, what answer do they have to their nation and the nations of the world for these actions? And then, of course, this is scenes of them going into Gaza. And he continues to say Iran considers its duty to support the resistance groups, but the resistance groups are independent in their own opinion, blah, 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 whatever. And then, of course, it just goes on to hear from that guy. I don't even want to talk about him. So Sandy, they're ramping up, and Iran is threatening. Yep. Iran is doing war games. They're not doing that.
200 helicopters.
Attack helicopters.
What?
Yeah, exactly. That's not just for show.
No.
Because see, they've sort of played the denial card that they don't really have that kind of military. That they're just this, back in the Stone Age, third world country. Don't believe that lie.
We already talked last week and probably many other weeks about how they have the most sophisticated drones.
Yes.
In the world.
They're the number one drone manufacturers in the world. A lot of people don't know that. Russia is using the drones in Ukraine. Can I digress for just a minute?
Oh, please.
Listen to me. How much money have we given the Ukrainian war? I want you to think about it. Do you understand that right now the president of our country...
It's over $100 billion,
over $100 billion when you factor all the things that they've done because you look it up and Google will tell you 16 billion, all that for military. But then when you factor in they're keeping businesses open, all these other different types of aid, It's over $100 billion. And right now, President Biden is trying to use the war in Israel to do a combined new money distribution that's called Ukraine/Israel for another $100 billion. $100 billion. Now, here's my question to you, big picture. Ask yourself this question. We have given more money to the war in Ukraine than anything we've ever given money to in certainly our history. But when is the last time you saw actual video footage of anything in Ukraine that's a war related?
Come on.
Where are the embedded reporters? Where are the live streams constantly with images of bombs going on behind them, like you see in Israel 24/7 now? There's people on the ground telling you every bombing that Israel has done, every building, the death toll, all this. When's the last time you heard a death toll on Ukraine? When's the last time you saw a video of a tank? When's the last time you saw a video of a bomb exploding? We have sent hundreds of billions of dollars, and we have not seen anything on our media from that.
How long has it been? Like you said, I can't even remember.
Yeah, years now. Years. And we don't see anything on our news about Ukraine, but yet we still want to keep sending money. Does that not make you think to yourself there's something else going on with this war in Ukraine? Wow. That there's some kind of diversion going on? Yet we can see every time Israel drops a bomb, we know about it. Mm-hmm. But when's the last time we knew about a bomb that Ukraine dropped or Russia dropped? And when is the last time you heard a death toll in Ukraine?
Exactly.
I mean, it is strange.
You are exactly right.
It is strange.
And even though we are seeing all these images from war, about the war, about Israel and what's going on there, I don't think people understand about the movement of troops and equipment, not just from our country, but other countries. It's like we're being distracted from the war by the war. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but except to put it that way.
Isn't it amazing how the very legitimate, horrific terrorist attack and then subsequent attack on Gaza response has overwhelmed the media, but yet there is still a war going on that we are funding, and nations, that's just the money that we've given.
Yes.
Think about the money that's been given from all over the world, and we don't see or hear anything. When you do see a random video, people are driving to work. They're still, we covered it a few weeks ago, they're still selling their sweaters in their businesses.
Yes.
We're paying their 401ks so they can keep their storefront businesses open.
Because it would be so devastating and damaging if they had to shut down for a little while.
Exactly. We covered that. But where's the footage of us helping the storefront stay open in Jerusalem? In Tiberias?
Come on now.
We got an entire nation surrounded by their enemies that are being shut down. Every American citizen is being evacuated. All tours are being canceled.
Right.
This country has...
In a country who heavily, heavily, heavily depends on tourism.
It's all shut down. And we ain't given but just a few $1 billion, if that, over there. Yep. But we've given hundreds of billions to a war that we see nothing from. Nothing. And I'm not saying that there's a war not going on, that there's not a war going on, but where is the embedded reporters?
Exactly.
Where?
Well, I don't know how many times I tried to go to one of the national, news sites, get a few minutes here and there, and try to compare it with what I see in my alt news services. But they want to flash multiple times an hour about the demonstrations.
Exactly.
And it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I know it's very serious, and quite frankly, it disgusts me.
It's sickening.
It's sickening.
Demonic.
But they're putting that out there, They're showing some of the images of what's actually happening on the ground, but they're not telling us the bigger picture.
No. And I saw a great report this morning. What is his name? Jack Hibbs? Is that his name? I can't think that. I'm having brain
The pastor?
freeze. The pastor, yeah.
I think it's Hibbs. You were
Jack
talking
Hibbs.
to
Jack
me
Hibbs.
this morning about him.
Many of you guys love him, and I love him too. But I'm just having a brain freeze. But he made a great point. He said, Iran knows that they cannot invade Israel until they turn the hearts of America. So they are funding all of these protests in the streets, pro-Palestinian, making Israel the enemy, and it's working. And it is turning the hearts of the Americans against Israel.
I'm not going
or at
to
least
fully
it appears
agree.
that it's working.
Right. I'm not going to fully agree with your statement.
Yeah.
I will
I'm just saying
say
what he said.
that it's making it look like or appear like what you just said. There's no way that I believe that. Yeah, okay, there may be a groundswell from people on campuses, but I'm not going to believe that the majority of people in this country feel that way.
No, and the college campuses do, though. The college campuses, I mean, I'm just telling you, they're just pretty much gone. And there are
you need to really think first about before sending your child there.
Yeah. You really do.
But it's not just children. There are adults.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is we're being distracted left and right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Distractions.
What are we being distracted
I hate to even say this, but this Maine mass murder guy, Card, whatever his first name was, there's a lot of questions going on. And like I said before about Maui, dead men can tell no tales. We can't ask him any questions. We can't try. We can only piece together what was known beforehand because he can't be questioned now. He's gone. However, he died, whether he did commit suicide, kill himself, take himself out, or what, if there, something else that happened. But it's really hard for me to take things on face value anymore.
And you said something else just then that sort of triggered me. You said Maui.
Yeah.
And
we have people commenting about Maui every week, tonight included. They're angry.
Eric West, God bless Eric West.
Bless
he is
him.
not letting it go.
Yep.
And he has revealed just this week that the company that fired him, that if we followed that story and you followed here, we followed it.
Yes.
Their majority stakeholder is BlackRock.
Well.
And BlackRock is going in right now and buying up all the property that was burned.
What do you know?
Listen, the whole world, this Agenda 2030, we've not forgotten it.
No.
We've just, all this stuff we have to cover. We know what's going on with Agenda 2030. And we're going to remind you that we're now basically 6 years away from it. And they have got to escalate this. And one of the biggest ways that you can control people is through wah-wahs that we just came through and wars and terrorism and fear. And that's what this is all about. We got to move on, y'all. We having a rant tonight. But the last thing I want to say about the war is that the Turkish Navy is also threatening to get involved, and they're deploying 100 ships. We're talking about ships earlier against Israel.
Well, let's just go on ahead and mention that most of you know that the first 2 world wars broke out somewhere in that region. And hey, if you didn't realize, the seat of Satan is actually in that area.
Red alert, the seat of Satan that the Bible talks about. It says the United States sent no fewer than 50 military transport planes loaded with troops to the Middle East. In addition, the list below shows unprecedented.
Yeah, I wanted to try to figure up how many people that would be. How many can you put on each one of those 50?
Yeah.
How,
See,
what's that number?
This is the graphic that the Canadian prepper had behind him.
Well, look at this list. When you keep scrolling, you're going to die when you see the list of all of these.
Look, let's just bring it. Let's just go ahead. Rapid fire.
Here's the
U.S. Mount Whitney, U.S. Gerald Ford, U.S. Thomas Hunter, the U.S. Ramage.
You're not going to be able to
Kearney,
say all of these.
Roosevelt, Normandy.
It is very vast. It's like 30.
Look, that's the strike group, the Dwight Eisenhower, the Gravely, Mason, Virginia, Philippine, the Bataan, the Mesa Verde, the Cardiac Hall,
it keeps going and
going. These are what has been moved.
Unbelievable. This is why I had to go in the prayer closet before I came out here.
This is not to China.
No.
This is to the Middle East.
It's the Med.
This is the Mediterranean. Do you understand why we get so intense here? Do you understand why we
when we say escalation, this is what we're talking about, and this is what, just our country?
This is just America. And then Turkey is saying they're moving ships. China's moving ships over there. Russia is probably right behind there. And
Italy.
Yeah, Italy. Let's fire them up. Let's just go ahead and scroll on. Look at all these that are over here. The announcement was made for the upcoming departure for Italy to take ships, Italian ships that are moving into the Eastern Mediterranean Sea.
I have never heard of Italy taking anybody anywhere. What?
Yeah, look, in the air. In the 24-hour period from Friday into Saturday, the United States flew 49-plus military transport aircraft from the U.S. to the Middle East carrying actual troops. These are our men and women.
There's already 5,000 just on the USS Gerald Ford, not to mention on all these other ships. And how many are these transport planes carrying? Good night, Anthony. Great to have you with us tonight.
Yesterday, October 28th, Germany put 1,000 soldiers on alert for deployment to the Middle East. In case the emergency, the German army keeps 1,000 troops on alert.
I'm sorry, I got to have a coffee break.
Go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
It's getting too much.
So you understand what we're showing you is this is just America, and this is just the first phase. This has nothing to do with, we're not even showing you the list that is already in the China Sea, that is on the outskirts of Taiwan. Not to mention the troops that were sent to Europe about a month ago to get ready to do military training drills on the outskirts of Ukraine.
So Barbara is saying she saw them fly over
her London.
House?
In London. Wow. No, that's Barbara. No, that's
Barbara Ann.
Barbara Ann, yeah.
My goodness.
Wow.
That must have been a lot of noise if they all went at the same time.
That is incredible. But let's move quickly, Sandy, because we got some other news to cover because this is still on the same thing. But look at this. Look at this. On top of everything else.
Kill more people faster. Kill more people faster.
Who knew this? The United States is building a nuclear gravity bomb 24 times more powerful than Hiroshima to take out the threat of Russia and China.
Yes.
24 times.
Listen, while we're praying for Israel, and we should, we've got to pray for our U.S. soldiers. We got to pray for our own troops. At this rate, conscription is certainly being talked about, at least.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
The United States is building a new nuclear bomb standing 24 times more powerful than the one that was dropped in Japan in World War II. It's the deadly nuke. The B-6113 is 25 times more powerful.
24.
And it says, 24, it's 715 pounds, this one bomb. It shows you the diameter, the kiloton, 360 kilotons, with options to strike harder and larger area military targets, modern safety, security, and accuracy features. Look at that bomb. That is unbelievable. 24 times more powerful than Hiroshima. And let me just tell you, you don't think that the Gerald Ford has access to something like this? You don't think that these? I'm telling you, we just showed you a picture of an aircraft that's carrying that, but you don't think there's something at least maybe scaled down from that? We've also seen, Sandy, we've seen videos that some of the aircraft carriers that are there in the Persian Gulf have the laser technologies to shoot out planes with lasers that are on board of these aircraft carriers. We are literally about to go into the war that we've only seen in movies.
Yes.
We've never seen a war like this.
Yes.
And that you said it. We got to pray for these troops because there's thousands of young and seasoned veterans, men and women. It's going to end up
probably being tens of thousands just from our country there.
That are already there that they can't talk about it. Their family members know. Their family members can't talk about it.
Well, some of them were told not to
even tell their family.
Let anyone know where they were going.
Yeah. But what about this?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
This is an interesting thing here.
Here's a brand new element nobody thought about.
Now, Israel has now threatened Elon Musk and his company called Starlink that provides internet through all the satellites that he's put up. Here's why. Elon Musk has promised to help humanitarian organizations to stay connected amid an information blackout in Gaza because they've cut the internet, they've cut all that. So Information Communications Minister Shimon Kari has vowed that Israel will use all means at its disposal to fight SpaceX CEO Elon Musk's planned provision of Starlink internet access to Gaza. Hamas will use it for terrorist activities, they claim. There's no doubt about it. We know it, and Musk must know it. And he goes on to say, in response, the tech billionaire said he is not so naive, explaining how the proposed scheme would work while promising, quote, to do a security check with both the U.S. and Israeli governments before turning on even a single terminal. Per my post, no Starlink terminal has attempted to connect from Gaza. If one does, we will take extraordinary measures to confirm that it is used only for pure humanitarian reasons. Now, you don't think they can talk in code? You don't think that they?
Yeah.
Come on, please. But so Israel's serious. They're telling Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, listen, man, I understand what you're trying to say, but while we're doing what we're doing, we're not afraid to blast out the Starlink as well. I thought that was an interesting article.
That is very interesting. Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. If you hadn't smashed that like button now, we got over 240 people watching, and we've got 98 thumbs up. Come on, what are y'all doing? If you're new here, smash that like button. Don't cost you anything. It's free. It helps us be put in front of people just like you that may not know anything about it. And also, Sandy, every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Thursday, we are right here with a live show. And by the way, tomorrow night, we will be here with a show where I was a guest on End Time Headlines by Ricky Scaparo, and I'm going to be talking about
Ricky.
He is awesome. I'm going to be talking about the return of the demons of the Tower of Babel.
What a timely
tomorrow
word.
Night at 7 o'clock. So let's talk about the economy now. Let's shift a little bit from the economy. And this is an article here. It says, dual energy shock. World Bank is warning of skyrocketing oil prices amid the Israel-Hamas war. An escalation of the conflict could trigger sharp supply disruptions. The World Bank warned on Monday that the price of a barrel of oil could reach uncharted waters if the conflict between Hamas and Israel
you
intensifies.
guys need to listen to this next paragraph.
Come on.
These numbers are riveting.
Yeah, they really are. A large disruption scenario resulting from an escalation in the war between Israel and Hamas could cause global oil supplies to fall around 6 to 8%, which would push oil prices up by 56 to 75%.
That is terrible.
Of the 2023 fourth quarter baseline, while a medium disruption of around 3 to 5% would increase oil prices by 21 to 35%, according to the World Bank Commodity Markets Outlook report. The invasion of Ukraine is already placing constraints on the supply of oil, and a potentially destabilizing Middle East would apply even more pressure to the market. So we're talking about, so you got war to deal with. You got the coming wham that they're going to try to release in the winter months of this year, and the mass mandates and the lockdowns and all that's coming. Then you got World War III happening, and then the push of Agenda 2030 at the center of it all is doing away with any gas-powered vehicle, and the higher they can push gas, the more they think they can justify.
Well, according to reports, if they were true, we've already depleted
Thank you for that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you for that super chat.
Thanks, Alicia.
All
awesome.
right. I want to appreciate that. Thank you. Go ahead.
We've already supposedly depleted our strategic oil reserve.
Yep. True.
And that was our cushion.
That was our cushion. It's gone.
I mean, we
It's
need
gone.
to dig deeper into that, but we've been talking for weeks that October 24th would be the date that it was depleted. And I will admit that I have not, gone into that, researched that a lot. But either way, I've been hearing this talk from different people that I listen to about the price of oil about to skyrocket.
Exactly. It is, and it's already skyrocketed. Now you're getting excited about $2.98. I'm not excited about that. I'm sorry, but maybe that's the new normal. I don't know, but people are like, "Y'all seen gas is under $3?" Well, it wasn't that long ago. It was basically $2 or sometimes even less. Thank you to all of our partners, those that clicked the join button down below us, and those that went to our website and became a monthly partner for our television ministry. We want to just put our hands together and say thank you, thank you, thank you. You are touching millions of lives, and you are helping keep us encouraged.
Yes.
Because we have to be encouraged, y'all. We're not saying money encourages us. That's what we're saying. But we don't do it for that reason. But it does bless us to know that you're sowing into this and you see value.
It takes everything that you guys can help us with to keep the television show going, and we
got new things we want to do. We got some studios we want to build. We got some new shows that we've been thinking about that we can't talk about yet that would need a set and things like that. We want to add to this. And by the way, we cannot forget our Rumble family.
No, we love those guys, and they are awesome over there.
They really are, and it's growing. If you don't already follow us on Rumble, even if you always watch us on YouTube, make sure you go over to Rumble and go to rumble.com/Larry Ragland. Why? Because this kind of information that we're giving you is probably going to end up getting us kicked off. But not now. We're still here. And let's get back into the news tonight. JP Morgan has now partnered with ding, 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 BlackRock. Would you go figure that? To launch a blockchain-based tokenized collateral network. This is very interesting, y'all.
Oh, yes. Well, this is the future.
This is the future. While the world is focused on the raging and expanding Israel-Hamas war, the largest bank in the world by asset size, JP Morgan Chase, has released a new blockchain-based system that tokenizes assets and effectively can convert things like cash money into a digital asset. As its first client, think about what I just said.
Yeah.
As the largest bank in the world, JP Morgan Chase, as its first client, BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, used JP Morgan's newest tokenized collateral network to turn shares into one of its money market funds into digital tokens, which were then transferred to Barclays PLC as collateral for an over-the-counter derivatives trade between the two institutions.
Yep.
Now, if that's just over your head, I'm not a financial expert as well, but I do understand what that means. That means, as we've covered here, they borrow money back and forth and move money back and forth all over the place and assets. So BlackRock took some of their assets, whether it be real estate, because they're the largest real estate owner in the world.
Yep.
And they could say, okay, here's an entire neighborhood in Orlando that we own the majority stake in. We want to digitize our ownership and our collateral that we have in these houses to this digital coin so that we can quickly transfer our collateral as a loan that we need to take from Barclays overseas. And they, instead of having to look at all the deeds on these houses, we'll just look at this blockchain digital thing and we'll give you your money. That's what's going on. They're turning ownership of houses, ownership of stocks and bonds into digital programmable.
Can you see how there would be a push in our future to digitize everything down to the calories of the food? Or how many, grams of protein that you're going to be allowed and allotted. That's the move, is to digitize everything.
It is. Because what do we say on the big picture? Once you digitize it, it becomes programmable.
Hello.
And when it's programmable, that means it can be turned on and it can be turned off. If you're a good little boy and a good little girl, we'll keep it turned on. But if you get on the big picture and you scream too much and you get too excited and you tell all the things that they don't want you to tell.
Those abilities would be very valuable to a certain somebody, right?
Exactly.
A certain supreme controller of the world, a AC maybe.
An antichrist, you mean? You mean the antichrist? You shall not buy nor sell anything unless you have the mark on your hand or your forehead. I think I read something about that guy.
So we've heard those things all of our life, and we're like, how can that be possible? When you talk about these kinds of systems and processes, this is how
this is happening.
Those things become possible.
Yeah. It wasn't that long ago it didn't seem possible, but it is possible now. But the good news is, as the gas prices go up, Sandy, this is what's going to help the world. We just need to get a battery-powered car. If we got a battery-powered car, then we are going to solve all of the world's problems with a battery-powered car.
This story is crazy. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Sandy, it's cheaper. Don't you know we're being told that?
You're saving so much, right?
Saving so much. Well, let's just talk about that car, that EV car, electric vehicle. You may be shocked to read this, and I was not shocked, but I'm glad to finally have the numbers of what I suspected.
Yeah, exactly.
Overcharged. I like that term. Major study reveals alarming true cost of EVs or electric vehicles. Maintaining and fueling is actually equivalent to, get this, $17.33 a gallon if you were buying gas.
Love how they threw that 33 in there as well. But that, seriously?
Let's break it down.
While we're being preached to, while these corporations, these car manufacturers are being outfitted for the future of when they only make EVs.
Sandy, Rolls-Royce and Jaguar, two vehicles we'll never drive in our lifetime, probably, certainly a Rolls-Royce, have said they're going to stop making gas-powered vehicles, along with others as well, saying that by X year, within that 2030, they're going to make exclusively battery-powered cars.
While you're being sold this bill of goods, this number right here, 1733.
Let's see how we got to it.
It's actually probably even more than that when you get into this article, and it tells you how it breaks it down even further.
The study from the Texas Public Policy Foundation said electric vehicles do not stand alone in comparison with other vehicles because, quote, of the wide array of direct subsidies, regulatory credits, and subsidized infrastructure that contribute to the economic viability of EVs. Can I break that down to you? Taxpayer money being used and given to businesses to offset. Adding the cost of the subsidies to the true cost of fueling an EV would equate an EV owner of paying $17.33 per gallon of gasoline. And these estimates do not even include the hundreds of billions more in subsidies in the Inflation Reduction Act that was just passed. The study claims that a 2021 electric vehicle would cost $48,698 more to own.
That's a lot more than my first house.
Exactly. More to own, that's true, over a 10-year period without the $22 billion in government favors given to EV manufacturers and owners. Said traditional gas-powered vehicles are cheaper than an electric vehicle without the subsidies. It is an overstatement to say that the federal government is subsidizing EVs to a greater degree than even wind and solar electricity generation and embarking on an unprecedented endeavor to remake the entire American auto industry. According to the study, about $22 billion in various federal and state forms of aid have artificially lowered the price of a 2021 electric vehicle by almost $50,000.
So they only dropped the price because of that?
Because of that. Ridiculous. It says, look at this, $22 billion. So what I'm saying is, you buy this vehicle, you get a tax break. You buy this vehicle, whoever manufactured it gets a tax break to make it. All these things. You take away all the tax breaks, which will eventually run out. It's going to cost you more. And the ultimate goal, Sandy, is not that you will end up being able to afford more. You will just give up on driving and you will live in a 15-minute city.
Yeah,
there it is.
Go to one of those pack 'em and stack 'em cities.
That's what this is about.
Use public transportation. That's the dream, right?
That is where it is. That's what ultimately it is, to price you out and to convince you and build things around you that you can walk to and ride a bicycle to where you will eventually say, well, I can't afford to drive this electric car anymore because the subsidies are gone and you can't even buy gas anymore. This is really a great idea. I don't want to leave my prison. This is a sweet prison. I have a movie theater in my prison. I have a pharmacy in my prison. I have a doctor in my prison. Thank you. Oh, wait, I thought that was a super chat. It was telling me my stream is messing up. Hope you can still see us. Okay. All right, so your comments on this.
I just almost want to pull my hair out every time we do one of these stories. It is so stupid. My gosh.
Stupid. Stupid. You know what else is stupid?
A lot of things.
A lot of things are stupid. Maybe I shouldn't have said stupid. I'm not saying people are stupid.
No.
I'm just saying these ideas are stupid. Watch this. New Wi-Fi rolls out.
Yep.
Did y'all know it rolled out? It actually rolled out. But watch this. Devastating results show what happens when the government can't force the Wi-Fi on people. In a surprise to no one, only a tiny fraction of Americans have gotten the latest Wi-Fi. Just 7.1% of adults and 2.1% of children have taken the shot since the Center for Disease Control and Prevention recommended them in September for everyone 6 months old or older. The vaccination figures, which are presented to a CDC committee last week, came from a survey of 14,000 Americans. According to the report, a whopping 37.6% of adults said they probably or definitely will not get Wi-Fi'd. Similarly, 40% of parents said they probably or definitely will not get their child Wi-Fi'd. So basically, everybody tried to make us believe that everybody wanted this thing, but everybody got, first of all, they were programmed, but secondly, it was free. Right. And people lined up, you could get free Big Mac. Remember that? Remember the mayor of New York City eating a hamburger and fries at a press conference saying, these fries are good. If you'll come get the Wi-Fi today, you'll get the free hamburger and fries. These fries are good. These fries are good. Come get your Wi-Fi. And all these people just bought into it. But guess what? When the government subsidies, just like what we talked about the cars, Andy, when the government subsidies of producing the Wi-Fi goes away and you got to actually spend the money as a company, and then people's got to spend the money in the doctor's office to get it,
and all the force and the fear is not working.
Magically.
This is what I'm anxious to see. Since we've had to retire Fauci because he outlived his usefulness, I guess. And
they're giving him an award, a global peace award for saving millions of lives.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
He's about to get it.
So now he's done, and we're not going to see Dr. Deborah with her variety of scarves every day. I want to know who is going to be out here sporting all of these vaccinations, trying to convince everyone to get them.
Listen, she's telling the truth.
So, Dr. Deborah with all of her scarves, she's gone. Fauci's gone. Ouchie Fauci, he's out.
Ouchie Fauci.
So who's the next one up? Yeah.
Yep, she went there. Ouchie Fauci. Ouchie Fauci. But you know what, Sandy? maybe people won't be getting it for the wah that's known. But you know what they've been talking about?
Yep. What's always lurking in the shadows?
The old bird flu.
Some type of bird flu.
It won't be long that we can't even say bird flu. We have to say wham for the bird flu. I'm sure this is probably already getting us flagged right now because they're already preparing it.
Well, along the lines of those vaccinations, they're really pushing hard the RSV vaccine.
And the combo. The combo wham that's got RSV, flu, and the you know what? Yeah. The beer from Mexico. See what I did there? See what I did there? I don't drink beer, but they got the same name.
Oh, it was good.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? All right, so
bird flu.
Bird flu. Nearly 1 million, Sandy. Nearly 1 million turkeys are about to be culled. That means taken out of this world.
What you gonna do for Thanksgiving?
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
As the avian flu reemerges in the United States and Europe, the bird flu, which has been deemed the worst ever in American history this past year, who knew that, had basically simmered down in 2023, according to the United States Department of Agriculture. But all of a sudden, strangely, it has come back with a vengeance. Around the time that nobody wants the wah for the other thing, all of a sudden, unexplainably, turkeys and not chickens, mysteriously. We thought it was chickens. But as the world gets ready to buy turkeys, and the poultry business was about to get a bump in people buying turkeys, now the poultry industry gets hit again because the turkeys.
This article says turkeys and not chickens, mysteriously enough.
Exactly.
How did they know? And how did they time it just around the time that I am thinking about a turkey sandwich? Come on, y'all. Y'all know you like turkey on Thanksgiving, but let's just tell it like it is. That leftover turkey in the fridge later that night or the next day ferments just enough, and then you take it out and you warm it up and you put it on a piece of bread and you throw some mayonnaise on there. This guy.
You feel the Holy Ghost when you eat that thing. He is
really feeling that Thanksgiving.
I like it leftover
but
turkey
seriously,
sandwich.
ferment?
Ferment. Yeah, it's ferment.
Is it ferment?
It ferments just enough.
What is that thing in the turkey that makes you so
sleepy?
Happy and sleepy? And
I don't know.
What is that? You guys, what is in the turkey that they talk about?
When it just kicks in and all of a sudden,
what is it called? Oh. Anyway, somebody will know.
You can't. No one has successfully watched the NFL game on Thanksgiving Day ever in the history of the NFL. No one has done it. If you say that you've done it, you're lying. You know that you're lying. You just got through eating your sweet potato casserole, all that kind of stuff. You sit down and watch the Lions play. No one finishes that game. They're asleep. They're asleep. All right. All right. So, but the good thing is, we always got the Second Amendment. It's in our Constitution. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's in our Constitution. The White House has pledged to confiscate our guns. I want to play just the first part of this. I'm not going to play all of it, but I do want to play this first. I want you to listen to the wording of Press Secretary, how you say her name?
Karine Jean-Pierre.
Karine.
Gun violence has terrorized and traumatized
Tackler in chief.
so many.
Sandy.
What?
Be sweet. Be sweet. Be respectful. Oh, by the way, she's talking to Australia.
Tryptophan. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, I knew. Look, we got the greatest.
They know
greatest live
stuff.
check-in.
Billy Mitchell, he don't know. He can just look it up.
But hey, we got that from Shofar Sounding. Give Shofar Sounding some credit too.
Who?
Shofar Sounding, you did
Shofar
it.
Sounding.
Come on,
thank
Shofar
you.
Sounding.
And
Thank you.
somebody up there above them.
Yeah, all
too.
you, we give you credit. But let's listen to our vice president. Please be respectful for our vice president. Please.
Gun violence has terrorized and traumatized so many of our communities in this country. And let us be clear, it does not have to be this way.
Thank you for being clear.
As our friends in Australia have done.
As our friends in Australia have done, which has one of the strictest gun laws in the world and has confiscated people's firearms.
And they're probably
That's what she's referring to.
regretting that very badly.
She's literally referring to.
Yes, she is. And so happy
so
about it.
proud of Australia.
As she points to their flag.
Yeah, taking the guns away, going into their homes and taking guns away.
Demonstrated.
Time to find common ground. Let's work together to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Let's work together to enact universal background checks.
Can somebody just please tell her, look, practice this, know at least one sentence, and don't read everything.
With your special little
have spent-
binder that you bring out there every day.
And I'm not being disrespectful to her individually.
No.
I'm saying somebody has sanctioned that this is okay. We have literally witnessed, since this lady has been the press secretary, her eyelids, 2/3 of the time that she's been behind that. She closes her eyelids. We see the top of her eyelids, 2/3 more. Can you speak with conviction? If this is really how you feel, can you look in the camera and speak with the conviction?
Require safe storage of guns and keep guns out of the hands of criminals and dangerous individuals who have no business being armed with a weapon of war.
I just want to add that if there's a gun roundup, who do you think is still going to have the guns? The criminals!
No, Sandy, no. What are you thinking? You have drank the Kool-Aid. You're listening to those right-wing fanatics.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
criminals are going to say, oh, you're so right. This is the new law. I need to turn my guns in. I can't believe this.
No, hold on to your
Listen.
guns and go buy more.
And importantly, we continue to urge all residents to heed the warnings and guidance of the local officials and
Okay, that's it. I can't hear no more. But basically, it's just a clip, and it goes on. He commentates on it and all that. But it's a clip where he goes back and forth.
Is that a word?
Commentating. I just made it a word.
Commentates.
Listen, if it goes out on the internet,
Commentates.
it becomes real.
Can you say that?
It becomes real. No, all you got to do is go back and watch it, and you hear it, and you think, he said it. It's real. If it goes out on the internet, it's real. So that she just commentates. That's all she does.
Okay.
I dare somebody to use that word at work tomorrow. Go in and say, hey, what were y'all commentating about?
Well, you can say commentating, I think.
Well, what's the difference in saying that
You
she's
said commentates.
It's the same thing. One's present tense, one's future tense.
I don't know. I need more coffee.
Commentate.
It's been a little rough the
But,
last
you know,
couple of hours.
but they just continue to comment.
Okay.
And they continue to say things like in that video over and over again, clips of saying, we're coming for your guns, we're coming for your guns. And it is the Second Amendment. Remember that little thing we played that night where it says, the comedian, he's like, come on, guys, look, it's the second thing they wrote.
Yes.
He's like, when you look at the Constitution, it's the second thing they wrote in all the things that they wanted to write. They wrote the first one that says you got the freedom of speech and you got the freedom of religion.
Well, I just want to say,
And then they said,
bingo.
and you,
Thanks, Alicia.
ding, 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 bingo. And he said, so they wrote the second one saying, we better write this in the second one if we want to keep the first one.
Yes. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, good grief.
Exactly, common sense. Well, but this is what's coming, and we're winding down, y'all. We're coming down off this mountain, and Jimmy, I hear Jimmy.
He's scratching
Jimmy.
He's wanting to get out.
Let me out! I got stuff to tell you.
Yeah, he knows it's almost Halloween, and he's super anxious.
Jimmy's like, the whole world is welcoming me now. They've put statues of me in the front of their house, not at my house.
True.
But not like this is a commentary here, but it is a good thing to point out because I feel like this is what we're talking about. there are things that are going on in our government and governments around the world that are people are being convicted for what they are calling spreading misinformation. I just want to read this down here because we keep going back to Australia. We have a lot of people that watch us from Australia that are faithful parts of the Big Picture family that we are thankful for. And, make sure you comment and let us know if you know about this. But Australia's new communication legislation amendment, and you just heard the vice president commending Australia. Mm-hmm. So don't start talking about, well, that's in Australia, that's not America, that's not in the UK and all this. But a lot of these countries are the test markets.
Yep.
And then they roll them out, they find out what worked, what they could do and not, and then other countries pick it up. So they seek to impose a wide-ranging set of new obligations, very loosely defined, that will constitute offenses if not complied with. The obligations fall on digital services providers, which must either comply with the yet-to-be-registered code or comply with the code of ECAMM will determine. The content of the yet-to-be-drafted code seems to be focused on preventing the dissemination of false or misleading information that could cause serious harm. I want to scroll down here. It says, harm is defined as hatred against a group in Australian society on the basis of ethnicity, nationality, race, gender, sexual orientation, age, religion, or physical or mental disability. Did you hear all that? Or disruption of public order of society in Australia. Or society, disruption of public order or society in Australia. Remember, Australia was the one that created the Wah concentration camps.
Yep.
And locked people in mobile trailers and had guards guarding them.
And went around the Aboriginal communities.
And hoarded them up.
Taking people away in trucks.
Yes.
I hope they don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, what they're trying to say is we don't care if you forget it or not. We're still going to institute this. Harm to the integrity of the Australian democratic process. Harm to the health of Australians. Do you know what that means? That means that you can be banned, you can be imprisoned.
Come on.
If you do not obey the health mandates. Harm to the Australian environment, meaning that if they pass a law saying that we no longer agree that cars can drive on the roads of Australia, and you drive a car, you can be flagged. Economic or financial harm to Australia, the Australian economy, or sector of Australia. So harm means harm. Circular. Idiots and malefactors are running the show, is what this commentator says. So basically, what the test market is happening in Australia is we're going to test a law where we can begin to implement, shut down entire internet companies if they allow anyone on that platform that does any of this stuff. I think we both know that that's coming to all platforms. This is a test.
Sure. And like you said, it happens there often before we see it here. But again, another use of the word escalation. This isn't even war. It is a type of war, but an escalation on your privileges, on your freedoms, on what you can and cannot do online. It's just more of a squeezing and a control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if y'all don't know about it, if you guys are Christians or you want to know a little bit more about the Bible, I want to remind you that every Wednesday night right here at 7 o'clock, we've been having a great time here. It's live. We do a Bible study. I'd like to invite you there. And then every Sunday night, you can watch the replay of our television show that we've talked about. It's at 5 p.m. 11 episodes are out there. All you got to do is go to thebigpicturetvshow.com. thebigpicturetvshow.com. Sandy, what is that I hear? What is that I hear?
Come on now.
Jimmy! Oh, Jimmy.
Nice thing for him. He doesn't have to worry about a costume for this holiday.
That's true. Supernatural AI update. For the new folks here that's joining us for the first time tonight, and you've been brave enough to survive to this moment, this is a segment.
Or crazy enough.
Or crazy enough, that's right.
One of the two.
And we have called this segment the Supernatural AI Update. And Jimmy, if you don't know who Jimmy is the alien that comes in the second scene. And some people will say that we look alike. Some people say that there are some DNA features there.
He's your uncle. But
he is,
I don't know.
I think he's an adopted uncle because I do not claim to be of alien origin. Aliens did not seed me here. People from other planets did not create my life or
I'm
my
sorry.
family.
We're going to require proof on that.
Hey, I got a birth certificate. I was born of a woman.
Okay.
Okay, her name is Essie Jewel Dean Ragland. She's with the Lord right now, and I love her.
She is.
Yeah, my God created me, not Jimmy. Jimmy, if you really are real out there, Jimmy, if there's anything to you, Jimmy, you need Jesus, Jimmy. That's all I'm going to say.
Phone home.
Phone home, Jimmy. Yeah, you don't want to phone home because your home is not a good home. No, it's not from a good place.
Although I would like to see that craft that he's in.
I can see that craft, but I don't want to.
You're not getting on?
I'm not getting on.
You're not getting on.
I'm not getting on. They do weird stuff to you on there. Is what I
They
heard.
do experiment on you.
So at the core of AI is computers.
Yeah.
And what we've said and we've covered here is that when the quantum computers begin to go online and begin to duplicate, that's when the Terminator movie scenario begins. Okay, so this is just breaking 2 days ago. A new quantum computer has now set a new world record with 1,180 qubit processor, far exceeding the number of atoms in the known universe.
Whoa.
This processor has processed more data faster than if you added up all the known atoms, not the known stars, not the known planets, but the known atoms in the known universe. To put things in perspective, last year IBM unveiled the new 433 qubit Osprey chip, the world's most powerful quantum processor, the speed of which, if represented in traditional bits, would far exceed the total number of atoms in the known universe. Computer processing technology has just ascended to unparalleled heights after Atom Computing debuted a new quantum computer with a processing power of 1,180 qubits. To keep things simple as it can, a qubit is a unit used in a computer measured in bits. TechTarget provides a basic but sciencey definition of how these computers work and are measured. It says it is the basic unit of information in a quantum computing and counterpart to the bit or binary bit in classic computing. It plays a similar role as a bit in terms of storing information, but it behaves much differently because of the quantum properties on which it is based. In a quantum computer, a number of elemental particles such as electrons and photons can be used with either their charge or polarization acting as a representation of the 0 or 1. I know this is deep, but this is basically look at the classical versus quantum computing. So let's just cut to the chase here and just tell you.
Bottom line,
it's more powerful than the human brain. It can process things faster than the human brain for the first time in history. We've seen pictures and images. Stan Deo showed us a picture of one of the older ones that was the size of a room, and it had the ability to process.
And that thing was freaky looking.
It was freaky looking.
What was that?
And he said basically in a matter of seconds that one computer could process more than all the computers of the world combined. That one computer.
They've been doing that for years.
Unbelievable.
That D-Wave quantum computer had the computing power of every brain on the planet probably 3 to 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Geordie Rose.
And that's what we know of.
Yeah, that's just what was out there.
That's what we've been told. So that's why people are afraid. A few people are afraid of AI. And the last thing that we're going to show you tonight, I got a couple quick things I'm going to show you, but the last one, don't go anywhere, but the last one I'm going to show you tonight is a combination of two different ones of scenarios of AI. I know what she's laughing at. She's laughing at what we're going to show you next, and that is some of you may know and love her from her movies and her TV shows, but Goldie Hawn has come out this week, and revealed that she has encountered Jimmy. Jimmy knows Goldie Hawn, and watch this. She says, "Oh my God, I think I made contact with outer space." I think she did way back.
She out on that limb with Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, I think she encountered it when she was on some mushrooms, but I don't think it was outer space. But Goldie Hawn is a firm believer in the extraterrestrial. She says she has had a close encounter of her own. In the mid-'60s, then 20 years old, working as a dancer in Anaheim. That was a time when, there was a lot of talk about UFOs. And she goes, I remember this so clearly. I went outside my door and I sat on this little ledge and I looked up into the dark sky. I want you to listen to the words here. And I saw all these stars, and all I could think of was, how far does this go? How little are we? Are we the only planet in the whole wide universe that has life on it? And Helen was staring into the great unknown, and she said she was fated with an alien encounter. I said, I know you're out there. I know we're not alone. I would like to meet you one day. Months later, Han was working another dance job, and after a tiring rehearsal, she asked her friend if she could take a load off in his car, hopefully get a nap in. After getting the car to sleep, I got a high-pitched sound in my ear. It was high frequency. Jolted awake by the sound, she opened her eyes, looked out the window, and I saw these 2 or 3 triangular-shaped heads. They were silver in color, a slash for a mouth, tiny little nose, and no ears. They were pointing at me in the cars as they were discussing me, like I was the subject. And as they were droning, she says, I was paralyzed. And I thought, oh my God, I want to get up. I didn't know if this was real or not. Of course, I was like bursting out of a force field. Got back to all the kid stuff, and I went, oh my goodness, I think I made contact with outer space. She goes on to say, they touched my face, and it felt like the finger of God. It was the most benevolent, loving feeling. This was powerful. It was filled with light. Sandy, this to me is the most detailed discussion by a human being of influence of how this is all going to happen. She just told us, remember when Stan told us they're going to be the savior of the world?
Yep.
You're going to feel more love. And we talk about the show V. Mm-hmm. What was that thing that she would do? Make everybody feel?
Her bliss.
Her bliss.
Give her bliss to everyone.
Everybody would, if you ever saw V, they would just go, oh. They would feel like they were touching God. Mm-hmm. And that's what these aliens, when they roll out in this disclosure, all a part of end times prophecy, they're going to make you feel like you really have touched God. Mm-hmm. And that's what she was describing. And notice that she said, she invited them to come. She opened the door for them to come. You go on in that interview, that article, it flashes back to when she was on Oprah of all places. You know Oprah that says there's many paths to God, Oprah?
To God,
that Oprah that everybody thinks is a Christian, but she's like, oh, who are we to be so arrogant to believe that Jesus is the only way? That Oprah? When she was on that Oprah show, Goldie Hawn talked about how she would sit with a Ouija board with her and Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell would blindfold himself and would think something, and she would ask questions, and the Ouija board would answer these questions about her and her future children. She would talk. The Ouija board would tell her what her future children would say. So here we are now in the AI update, telling you that when you delve in that kind of world and you invite that world to come into you, you might have an encounter too.
So we have multiple comments in chat about mushrooms, about being on drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, pharmakia.
Pharmakia.
No, you can't do that. You got the term purple haze in
Sandy,
there.
They don't know about the Bible study. We got to tell them what you're talking about.
Right.
Pharmakia is the Greek word for sorcery.
And that's where we get the word pharmacy, drugs,
Witchcraft.
drug-induced states. You guys are talking about LSD and mushrooms and being spiritual and getting in touch with God and all this. You don't do those things.
Yep.
Because you're going to do a deep dive off into waters you don't need to be in.
Dimensions.
You need to stay away from that. It is dangerous. Not that we need to have that discussion here. I think everybody understands that in this forum.
I think so.
But yeah, it's a real thing and it's a real problem. And I don't know if you were going to touch on this, but is it Christmas Chronicle? You know,
yeah, go ahead.
She's with.
The first one was good.
The first one
liked it.
Had at least, I can't remember the entire thing, but it had at least one thing that was questionable in it.
Yeah.
The Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah.
These are Netflix Christmas movies, if you want to say
stuff,
that.
by the way.
that her and Kurt Russell did.
Yeah.
So over the last 2 or 3 years, they released 2. Well, the first one, and this, if you do not understand this, this is a way that you are hooked and reeled into places and things that you did not have any intention of getting involved in.
Yep.
If you watch or you even let your children watch cartoon series or you watch Netflix series
Disney's
or
the worst.
any series, they will start out mild and tame, but often by year 3, you're going to see some changes. They're going to start going down paths and roads that you hopefully will find questionable, and hopefully we can shake ourselves enough to say, whoa, wait a minute. I did invest in this. I do like this, but I don't need to be seeing that. I don't need to be watching that. So the first Christmas Chronicles, it was mostly good. It did have one or maybe a couple of things, but by the time the second one came around, the second Christmas Chronicles installment, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it because I thought it was going to be cute, and I was like, what is this?
Exactly. We couldn't even finish it because it was so full of stuff. And I do now, knowing what I know about Goldie Hawn, I believe a lot of it was because of her. And I'm not saying I'm not excusing Kurt Russell, but I believe she was like, we got to put this stuff in. Well, the end of this last
article, it went on to say Kurt Russell had his own experience, but whatever. Okay, look, they're out there living their best life now in Hollywood or whatever. They probably have a lot of different beliefs than what we have, and I don't need that speaking to my grandchildren.
No.
I don't need that speaking to me.
No. Absolutely.
So you need to guard yourself and your family.
But staying on the Jimmy line here and talking about the disclosure of what's coming, let's not forget that right before all these wars started, we literally had a government hearing on UFOs. We had government officials for the first time ever, whistleblowers, talking about it. But it's like that was just sort of just put a little bit out there.
And like we talk about,
and just boom, gone away.
It's been quiet on that front for a while. So I'm waiting for anything to pop off at any moment. That'd be a great distraction when you want to pull everyone's eyes away from something else when they bring that on again.
Exactly. And how about this? Jimmy will come along and stop all the wars. But this came out just out of the blue today. They are now releasing an analysis of a 200-foot saucer-shaped object that was spotted over the Andes Mountains in 2010, and is now determined that it is a genuine UFO. We're getting closer to the truth, scientists say. A giant UFO pictured over Chile in 2010, and these are some of the images here, is being described as a genuine unidentified.
Oh, yeah, these are completely conclusive images.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that clear image there of that tiny orange spot. But these are your blurry close-up images. Sort of looks like something out of a movie. And then of course, they reverse it. This is where it was supposedly seen. They go in even closer. This is supposedly the ship. And then they invert the colors to see what colors are maybe make them pop out and so forth. So there's the red, the green, and the blue, RGB, which is the 3 bases for all colors. And they show that same image. And what they're doing is that in this situation, when you go to RGB, that if it is a fake photo, this will be distorted or something will disappear because not all the colors are visible in a manufactured photo. So this is what they're trying to say, is that when they did the deep dive in the breakdown of the video, they could not make the image leave. So they've now determined that this is one of the first photos that they have, that our government and the government's figures, the institutions, is a genuine UFO.
That's down in the southern part of South America?
It's Chile, yes, the southern part, yeah.
You know, they have a big telescope down there in the Atacama Desert, I believe. And I'm sure we do not get to see a lot of stuff that, that they don't release a lot of stuff that they can see down there. Just like we, the Vatican, they have some of the most sophisticated telescopes in Vatican City. Yeah. And in Arizona on Mount Graham. Of course, we have. I like
what Julie said. It looks like an altered photo of a whale. You know what? You're right. It does. Those little dots. That was a good point. Listen, before we show you the last thing, we got one more news article to show you. It's actually a combination of two articles, but it's one topic. If you have not gone to our website lately, go to LarryRagland.com or .tv. Either one will take you there. When you get there, you can get a copy of our book. A lot of you have bought our book. Comment and let us know if the book has been a blessing to you. But more than anything, if you've got a copy of our book, it's a story of our life together and many things that God has done in my life and our life together. And it's touching a lot of people around the world. You can go to Amazon and give us a review. We would greatly appreciate that. That will help us if you haven't done that. You can find the book on Amazon, or you can buy it directly from our publisher, Leadership Books, here on our website. And speaking of that, we'll be talking more about that in the coming few weeks, because the official book signing tour, call it that. It's weird for me to call it that, but it'll be in churches in different places. Will kick off in 2024. If your pastor in your community would like to have Sandy and I or myself or something like that to come in and preach and teach and meet you and bring our book in and do a book signing, if you would like to have us in, then just go to my website, LarryRagland.com, fill out the contact form there, let us know, comment below, give us contact information, because we'd like to start booking that 2024, and our publisher will be helping us do that as well. So we'd like for you to help us. So two things here about ChatGPT that the creators of ChatGPT are now saying, Sandy. The first one is ChatGPT creators, OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT, the number one AI chat bot out there, is now formed a preparedness group to get ready for catastrophe.
What catastrophe?
Exactly. AI systems have the potential to benefit all humanity, but also pose increasingly severe risks. The company that is promoting it has said. They formed a new group to prepare for the catastrophic risk of artificial intelligence. The preparedness team will aim to track, evaluate, forecast, and protect against catastrophic risks, the company said. Those risks include AI being used to craft powerful, persuasive messages to endanger cybersecurity and be used in nuclear and other kinds of weapons. The team will also work against autonomous, meaning on their own, replication and adaptation. The danger that an AI would gain the power to and be able to copy and change itself. Which leads me to my final article, Human Extinction.
You think?
Risk from AI on the same scale as the pandemics or nuclear war, the Prime Minister of the UK, Sunak, has warned.
Rishi.
Listen to what he says. Rishi Sunak, let me get this out of the way. Rishi Sunak has mitigated the risk of human extinction because of AI should be a global priority alongside pandemics and nuclear war. AI will pose major security risks to the UK within 2 years and has the potential to enhance terrorist capabilities. New analysis by the Sunak government has warned.
These crazy people.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Who was it? Hugo de Garis. We know it's dangerous, but it's just so interesting. We got to figure out who or what's out there.
But you know what's going to do? The Prime Minister of UK says within 2 years. And we always say, if that's what they're saying, it's worse than that. So he's saying, guys, within 2 years, human beings could be extinct because AI risk being able to duplicate itself.
But we're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it anyway. And then we just
And you're going to pay for it.
And you're going to own nothing. And you're going to be happy.
And you're going to rent your appliances and your cookware and your
your
clothes.
And that's right.
You're only going to eat meat on special occasions.
And your dying meal is going to be crickets.
You only need 2 sets of clothes to survive. Have you seen the closets of most of these women? I can't even leave home without wanting to buy another pair of boots.
Y'all need to pray for her in boots in the thrift store. She don't go
in every store.
She don't go to the regular stores and buy boots. She goes gets them off of like the
every
Goodwill.
store.
But they look good. She looks good in boots. That's all I'm gonna
Those
say.
boots in that window today at that shoe department.
Y'all, we was driving. through a strip. I saw a strip mall somewhere, and I thought she was going to jump out of the car when she said, "Did you see those boots?"
Anyway,
it's a good show. And look, it's only an hour and 45 minutes tonight. We're going to give people a little 15-minute break.
oh, look at you.
Look at us.
It's not even Christmas yet.
Not even there's your Christmas gift. I could probably talk for another 15 minutes, but I'm not going to do it.
I'm betting on that.
I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So listen, if you have not smashed that like button, do it now. Share the broadcast. Help us build the Big Picture family. And tomorrow night, I saw somebody commented. They asked a question about pharmakia. Tomorrow night on Halloween night, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be right here, 7:00 Central Time, 8 Eastern. I'm doing a show where I was a guest with Ricky Scaparo on his show. I'll be simulcasting it here. Come watch us, and we'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover that word because the Bible says that in the last days, Babylon will be destroyed. And one of the reasons that it's destroyed is because of its sorcery. And Jesus says, I destroyed you because of your sorcery. And that word sorcery in the original Greek is the word pharmakia. And it is where we get pharmacy. It is where we get pharmaceuticals. And it is where witchcraft comes from. So join us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Right
yes,
on
I
the
do have a boot problem, Billy.
Yeah.
I just want to say, guys, be safe. Be aware.
Yeah.
You know,
Head
tomorrow night.
Yeah.
It's,
exactly. Yeah.
You know, some folks like to do some crazy and evil things, and you know, just be aware of your surroundings. If you're not at home, if you can stay home and in the comforts of your home, do that.
Yep, exactly. And we love you. No, we're praying for you. We love our Big Picture family.
Yes, we do.
Can't wait to read the live chat. You guys are such an encouragement to us.
Yes.
Thank you. And we always want to remind you that we ain't woke.
Nope.
But we are certainly awake. God bless.
Good night.
See you next time.